So that's allegedly, listen. So that's allegedly what this country was founded on is freedom from religious persecution. Yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, nobody is going to get persecuted for their beliefs and so on and so forth.
And that's what
So,
you're
but
really
but
talking
Rich,
about.
but Rich, you see how they turning this shit into a situation where if you don't believe what we believe from a religious fundamental standpoint, then what you're doing is illegal. That's the
Yeah, but
same thing.
Akil, once again, this is where we differ at, man. You're giving that to the wrong demographic. The Republican Party or the Conservative Party, or even if you want to say the evangelicals, they have remember all this time that all this time that the U.S. has been a quote unquote built on Christian principles. Roe versus Wade has been in play, dog.
Not all this time, Rich.
Wait,
That
wait,
was
wait,
a
how
that
many?
was
We're talking about
codified.
50 years.
That
We're talking
wasn't
about
it
50
wasn't
years.
ever codified, but the court case was decided in the 70s, Rich, in the
50,
60s.
50 years ago. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying to hold on. So what I'm saying to you, Akil, even when the conservatives got what they wanted, abortions was still going on. Remember, Roe versus Wade was not something that the conservative party wanted.
Rich, here's what I'm telling you about that whole entire issue, all right? Because it was not something that the quote unquote conservative party wanted. It wasn't this big linchpin issue in America where people were trying to say, yo, this is the number one thing that we got to fight against. We have to get a law in place to protect this or to
Akil, it's all
fight
about.
this.
This is all
Listen to what
about.
I'm saying, Rich. This was just a wedge issue for that particular faction of politics to mobilize their people. They used that
The
to
reason
mobilize.
why is because it didn't financially hurt anybody at the time. Because when Roe versus Wade came in, all right, you still had Margaret Sanger, you had all of these people that were big in eugenics and all of that.
Right.
A lot of those people that were conservatives really didn't see the foreshot what was coming into play. A lot of Democrats, liberal, no matter who you, because remember, not only Christians don't believe in abortions. You have
No.
many, right? You
Catholics,
got
listen, people who are Catholic, people who are
Muslims.
opposed to it on, just a lot of
So
different
many
terms.
different. But what has changed it is this. What changed it is the fact that you have so many agencies, Planned Parenthood, and all these agencies that are erroneously benefiting from that decision. Because now they're saying we have to start offering people abortions, and so now the states and the federal government have to put out money for this stuff. So now you got other people coming in saying, hold on. Let each state decide on this, not just because Roe versus Wade was bogus. We're not even talking about the case. We just talk about the financial impact. And that's what some people miss with reparations. I'm not, I'm for reparations. I'm not against reparations. You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But you cannot attack reparations from a slave and dehumanization. We already know they were cruel. We know what they did to us, but you cannot approach it from that because that's not a financial argument. The argument that man, I just heard a dude talking about this yesterday too. You have to understand, and we're not criticizing Harvard or any company that has built their wealth off the back of slavery. We're not talking about the company itself. What we're talking about is the fact that slavery was more financially beneficial to America than Microsoft was to the whole world. So whether
Yes.
you look at Bezos and all these people that have made billions of dollars from
Yes.
Microsoft and Google and all,
Correct.
that the money that these families and people remember, you know how we talk
Yes.
about the 1%, the five families and all of that.
Correct. You're
Those people benefited off of slavery too, but they benefited off of laws, alcohol. They benefited off of so many things because they
no.
were empowered.
Just what she's
But
saying is that the wealth that slavery built
was
can never
was
be
so
replicated.
unanimous, man.
It can
It
never
was
be.
so
It
unanimous.
was okay. 100% stand
Yeah, man.
fact.
So you have
Listen,
to approach it from the financial standpoint. You
that's
get
why
what I'm
there's
saying?
no such thing. That's why there's no such thing And it's really insulting when people start talking about closing the racial wealth gap in America. What are you, crazy?
Exactly,
Are you stupid?
exactly.
Like this is cotton money. This is slave money. This is
Come on, man.
sugar. Dick nigga, are you stupid? This isn't
That's
you know what I'm saying?
illegal.
This isn't like
It's
somebody worked
illegal.
a little and saved up a little bit more than another
Listen
person.
to me. How can you be in prison, right? How can you be in prison in North Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're a prisoner in North Carolina. You buy cigarettes from
Mm-hmm.
commissary from the prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
How the hell can the guards and the and the warden? How can all these people come to you as inmates and say, "Look, man, we selling y'all these cigarettes, man, but don't say nothing because we don't want it to get back to the BOP because we ain't supposed to sell y'all cigarettes."
Bruh. America is a Richie. America is a criminal enterprise, front to
Hold on
back,
though.
side to
You hear
side.
what I'm saying to you?
I hear
You
what you
locked up.
said,
You locked up for dealing with drugs or something. Whatever you did illegally is what got you locked up, right? And the people
Rich.
that got you locked up, they like, look,
They
we ain't
still.
put you here. We ain't put you here, but this what we doing.
This what we doing, and y'all gonna go ahead and roll with this. Fuck that,
The
cause this.
BOP, the BOP had shut Rivers down one time. It was going to take away the contract, and they didn't want to lose the contract from DC.
Mm,
So that's what made them stop selling the cigarettes because they said in the long run it wasn't worth it.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
only reason they stopped selling
Cause yo,
prescription
cigarettes
cigarettes.
is illegal in federal prison now, huh? You can't smoke in
The reason
federal.
they stopped. The reason it stopped
Is it
is the reason it
is that
stopped.
true or false, Rich?
No, it's illegal. That's why the BOP had came down on Rivers
Wow.
because Rivers is not a federal institution.
Okay.
Rivers is a
It's just
private
it's a
institution
state, it's a private institution that
that
houses
housed
federal
them.
inmates.
Thank you. So they looked at it like, look, we trying to stay under the family, but
Wow.
we not really because we're not a BOP facility.
Mm-hmm.
We just have a BOP contract.
Rich, listen.
And so what happened is, some dudes got together
Mm-hmm.
and sued the BOP and said we caught secondhand.
What'd you say, Rich?
You see what I'm saying?
Nah, I dropped. I ain't hear what you just said.
It
They
was some dudes that got together at different facilities and they sued the BOP and said they caught lung cancer or
from
whatever they was,
secondhand smoke,
and that's why the BOP stopped selling the cigarettes.
bruh. That's crazy. That is
Yeah,
wild. That's I mean, but
that's why
that's
they stopped.
but look again. This whole enterprise of America, man, is about control. It's
It's about
about
money.
skirting the law. It's about making the law apply to who it needs to apply to, when it needs to apply to them.
That's true.
This is
That's
not a
true.
meritocracy. So that's why I'm saying, even when we talking about all of this Trump shit, which is what we gotta get into, which is why I'm telling you, Rich, right now, look, right now I'm live. I'm on Twitch. There's nobody watching, which is I'm totally fine with. I'm live. We on Twitch right now. I'm just testing. I'm gonna go back and look at this and see how it
Right.
sounds when I have
Right.
you on the phone, just in here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the link. We're going to set it up. I'm going to have you right here in the box, right next to me on this screen. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to talk. Cause hey, we got some time today. You know what I'm saying? It's early in the morning too. It's early enough in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I got my tea. I'm ready to do this. So, and there's a couple of things we gotta talk about. You know what I'm saying? Cause like all of that stuff you was asking, all those questions that you was asking me today, I think yesterday you got some answers to today about that whole raid and all of that shit, and how serious that shit is, and how they just not playing with this nigga because he's posing a challenge, an existential threat to this whole system that millions of people make billions off of. You know what I'm saying? Like this country, like is a machine. It's a business, and this nigga is trying to upset it and take it over and make it his business. And there's some people that's invested in it deeply enough, and they like, nah, we not gonna have that. So we're gonna fight back with all the weapons available to us because you gotta remember, this is a different war. This is a white man war. This is between big, powerful white entities. This ain't between coloreds, you know what I'm saying, and the white man where you could, we gonna bomb him. We gonna shoot him. We gonna kill him. Nah, we gotta deal with this nigga differently. He got the people that we need to control, the people that we need to run this thing. He has them in the palm of his hand. We can't do this without them. We can't do this without him. There cannot be a lot of collateral damage in this. So this is, I'm telling you, bro, it's deeper than this, man, and it's going to get ugly. It's going to get a lot worse before it get better because they open the can now. It's the door is open. It's like, yo, America is basically exposed. It's been exposed for some that's sweet for the taking. If you want it, you can take it. Cause right now it's fucked up. Don't nobody got it. Nobody has it under control. And I mean, these people want it. They gonna take it, yo. They coming. Rich, they are coming. And they've been coming for a long time. That's the thing that not a lot of people have been paying attention to. This has all been a very practical march towards an ultimate goal. And to be honest, things like Roe, when it was, when that Supreme Court's decision was handed down, those things just serve to add fuel to the fire. Just like Brown versus Board of Education, just like Plessy versus Ferguson, all of that. Because all of that is venturing further away from what they originally intended this thing to be, which is a republic, an ethno state, B. By and for a certain ethnicity of people, a certain breed of people, a certain class of people. And everyone else that was coming over, sure, hey, come on over, but you're going to service and uh, um, assimilate as much as possible into what it is that we want this to be. And if it ever starts to get too far away from that, then we're not having it. So that's the conversation that I think, people need to be having right now. How sustainable is that? How sustainable was that? Is that going to really work out? Nah, I don't think so, G. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, those guys, they had slaves. They was on top of the world. They thought, yeah, man, we got some shit, man. This shit's never going to be put asunder. We can never be stopped. And I think that as time has marched on, like all these little chinks in the armor, all these chips, all these cracks, and to think that people like us, like you and me, we still alive, Rich. They don't want us here on the internet talking shit. You know what I'm saying? Eating good, living in homes and shit, taking care of our families, man. We supposed to be workers, slaves for the system. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Like, you know what I mean? All of this stuff, like Rich, I'm telling you, all of this stuff is just contributing to the crumbling of this American empire. This whole American experiment is weirdly falling apart. And I don't think it has to mean that we fall apart with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing.
No,
Like,
it's just gonna. I think by the American structure or whatever falling apart, I think more so, um, America is becoming more so what it was really intended to be.
yep, yep.
And
Like when people say the system is broken, that always pisses me off. I'd be like, no, the system is working exactly how this is. Everything is pretty much going according to plan here. You know what I'm saying? Like
right, right.
this is a Big 10-4. You know what I'm
And that's
saying?
not going. Yeah. What happened? What happened is this, and this is what this is the reason we get laughed at. And when I say we, I mean blacks. The reason we get laughed at and the reason we get tricked
Mm-hmm.
is because we fail to realize that Hispanics, Spanish people, and when I say Spanish, I'm speaking of the Portuguese.
Right.
The
People
Spaniards,
from the Iberian Peninsula.
the Spaniards,
Mm-hmm.
and the Asians,
Mm-hmm.
and the Native Americans
Mm-hmm.
all had black slaves. I'm not talking about indentured slaves. I'm talking about slaves that they used cruelly and they dehumanized. All of them had slaves before those white, those Caucasians and Europeans or whatever you want to call them.
Yes, the
What
concept of
happened is,
slavery is ancient. Gosh.
right. So what happened is people have to realize when those Vikings or whatever we want to categorize them as, when they came out of that cold area
Mm-hmm.
and they started to see things, they said, "This is what the hell y'all doing." See, most people when they hear about certain what you quote unquote discoverers, you know what I mean? They think of the Queen and all these people. No, most of those discoverers came from the Portuguese, not from the English.
Well, they came from places where it was advantageous to sail. They came
But
from
no,
seafaring cultures where people,
this,
you know.
but everybody, but you got to remember, Israel was the center of the world. What's going on? So when you look at the Nile River and you
Hmm.
look at all those waterways that come out, you got to understand those Vikings. Like I say, they came out and saw that, and they said, "Look, this is what the hell is going on.
Well, I
We have to
mean,
get some of it."
when you say Vikings, I don't want get too into the weeds about them and who they are, but just saying that, like, I know you're not referring to specifically Scandinavians. Like
No,
Vikings are
no,
people who come from the Scandinavian peninsula, where we talk about Norway, Sweden, all of that. You talking about
correct.
people we typically, when we're talking about the conquest of the Americas, and even of the concept of colonization from
I'm
Europeans,
talking
we
about
talk about
those
people from the British Isles.
right
Listen,
because those places, those people are not Portuguese. They are not the Portuguese.
nah, they're listen, the people from the Iberian Peninsula, the reason and one of the reasons that they have a lot of the knowledge that they have and have been able to accomplish a lot of things that they have been able to accomplish is because of their proximity to Africa. It's right
Okay, so
there.
so
It's
so
right
what I'm
there.
trying to so what I'm trying what I try to tell people is I say listen, when I look in the Bible and they say Asia, then they have Minor Asia. They were like, okay, what the hell is Minor Asia? Minor Asia, I had to find out was Turkey and all these places that we call
Yeah,
Turkey and all these other
yeah,
places now. So they Rome had a black emperor that was a ruler. They
absolutely,
had that.
absolutely.
Rome, and so at one time, that's why the whole Jewish thing is such a big argument because they didn't look at you as, oh, you're black, you're a
Well,
Jew.
that's what I'm
They
saying,
look,
Rich. You getting into the weeds right now about like all these different empires. And
right.
all of these different empires, the one common denominator that they all have is is
Africa.
fracture from within. And the fracture
Okay.
from
No,
within
no, no.
is
Yeah,
always
yeah, right,
based on
right.
hubris. It's based on being
Yeah,
cocky, G.
but that's not where I'm going with that. Just that. What I'm
Okay.
talking about is all of them when back then, just like how people think, okay, if I go to Harvard or Stanford, I go to an Ivy League school, or if I go to Oxford University. Back then, the universities were in Africa.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
even in the Bible, when we talk about people like Noah, when
Mm-hmm.
we talk about people like Moses,
Mm-hmm.
because like they say, Moses was one of the top educated. When you talk about all of these people that was in the top, these
Mm-hmm.
people tell you where they were educated at. They
Yep.
were educated in the
Yep.
different
Yep.
universities
Yep.
in Africa.
Absolutely. And when those
No,
places were
and I'm not
conquered,
getting into what part of Africa they went to school in. I'm telling you
nah,
straight.
yeah, there was
You get into
universities all over. West Africa is well known for universities such as, and
so
East Africa and Egypt and the libraries of
right.
Alexandria and so on and so forth. Yeah.
So what people don't understand is when you have these Portuguese, and I'm gonna find this clip and send it to you because this brother right here, and see, brothers like him don't get a lot of airplay because a lot of people still want to draw a line between the white and black. And people got, and in order for you to move forward, you got to get out of that because if
I
you stuck,
agree. I agree, and to a certain extent. Only the only reason I disagree with that is because the terms of the struggle have been so clearly defined over here. I lost Rich, man. I don't know. He gonna call me back. But either way, man, yeah, that's what we do, man. That's my boy Richie right there, man. No, this guy man. Listen, it's a hell of a guy, man. For real, man. Like dude been through a lot. I known this man since we was young dudes in the streets, from the streets to prison to working for the government now, to being like to knowing the guy who has all of these experiences, and then also to know that we have such divergent political views. And I don't even have conversations with people typically. Like, just, and it's not because I don't want to, it's just because we don't find ourselves in the same spaces often, um, of divergent political views, and so willing to freely express them. You know what I mean? Every now and again, that will happen in, of course, my zone, the barbershop, where it's like, but again, there's a lot of more commonality there than there is difference. And yo, man, that's what happens, man. Me and Rich, we get on the phone, we get to talking, man. Like I'd be like, Rich, man, like, you know, listen to me. And he'd be like, yo, listen to me. And I'm like, it's a lot of interesting back and forth comes out of that. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's what the community is about. That's what, Black Broadway is about. That's what U Street was to me. I could go outside and I could meet. I definitely, now I take that, what I just said back. I definitely have had some conversations with some people that I just happen to be sharing some space with on U Street and was like, yo, nah, we got to let some things fly. Hey, man, shout out to the early days of Bus Boys and Poets. Letting it fly in Bus Boys and Poets. Letting it fly in the barbershop on 14th and U. Letting it fly in Desperados or, you know what I'm saying, Bar None on certain nights. Whatever. Now it's Pure, man. Shout out to Mike and all the whole gang over there. But I mean, yo, that's what this shit is about. That's what the community is about. That's what, this platform is about. You know what I mean? Come on out here, man. Say what you got to say. Do what you got to do. We outside. Hey, man, I'm going to see what's going on with this stream real quick. I'm gonna get my man Rich looped in on the live stream, and you're going to see. And then you're going to see who's talking this shit, and then it's going to really blow your mind to the side. You going, huh? My man Rich. But, yeah, man, Black Broadway Podcast, yo. We gonna holler. We'll be back in a sec, man. It's streaming. Streaming is fun. I can see why my man K Cent. I like. Yo, listen. I'm in all y'all streams. Just so you know, I'm rocking with all y'all joints. Like I come into these joints and I just watch. I don't care if you got 2 people watching. I don't care if you got 48K watching. I'm just kind of watching and just trying to see what's happening. You know what I'm saying? I'm an admirer of lots of set design here. My life's not going to be complete until I get my neon shit popping. So do not sleep. I will be back with lots of neon. You know what I'm saying? I'll be in here. I got one poster up right now. It's so much words on this poster, which is cool because this shit means a lot. Like in one of these days, I'm gonna stop. I might have to pick up the webcam and zoom in on this because this is something that informs all of the decisions of content that I make most for the most part. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, we got some stuff to do, man. We got some growing to do, yo. Twitch, live streaming, YouTube. Yo, shout out to my YouTube peoples, man. Shout out to my man Dave, man. Yo, shout out to my man Dave. Always supporting, always rocking with the real. Listen, we going. We are going to the top, and I'm not going to forget who was rocking from day zero Maliro. So I'll be back, gang. Let me figure out some technical things, man, and get into my Zuckerberg bag. I'll be back.